Hi, this is Jacqueline here with the Grow Program. Hello again, kings and queens. Thank you for growing with me. Okay, in that last episode, I told you that I am moved by the spirits. I don't go by a script. I'm moved by the beloved ancestors. And now look at what happened. Okay, the other day, last week, I thought about Dr. King. Just thought about Dr. King. And I was unaware. It slipped my mind that yesterday was his birthday. And I recorded that episode today. It was on my mind to record an assassination of character because how this FBI is getting ready to release these records on Dr. King, and it has nothing to do with his accomplishments, his achievements, and his legacy. That has nothing to do with him. And so I'm telling you, I'm moved by the spirits. I can't even go by talking points. I tried to look at that. I can't sit here and be reading to you this is real, people. I'm telling you, African spirituality is real. The ancestors are not asleep. They're not resting. And the message that Dr. King wants to get out to his children is that he is with them, each and every one of them. He lived through them. He comforts them. He's there with them, and to live on in the legacy, live on in the memories, keep smiling, keep growing, keep rising, and keep pushing forward. We got to keep carrying the torch on. We can't stop. We can't wallow in oppression. We got to keep carrying the torch on. Everybody got a torch. I'm gonna tell you something. Legends, or you got some famous legends, and you got some legends who ain't so famous. I'm gonna tell you, I'm truly proud of this young lady. I really am, because she really seems like she got a heart of gold and goes all out of her way to try to help people. And people can knock her all they want and try to assassinate her character, but I can see her. She's a loving mom. And she really goes out of her way to try to help people. And that's Beyonce. I got to give it to her. She does. She's a wonderful person. And you can just see the light in her. You can just see, that God has gifted her not only with a beautiful voice, because she can sing, and not only with a beautiful voice, but the ability to bring so much happiness to so many people just by her smile. She make me smile. When I see her smile, I just start smiling. Every time I see her, she got a smile on her face, and that right there, if nothing else, that right there shows someone that there's some light there. It almost brings me to tears, because that just to even smile, Beyonce, it's somebody. Every time you smile, every time somebody sees you and you smiling, that lets them know, hey, it's okay. You can't reach everybody, and I know she would love to if she could, just like I would. To reach everybody. If I could give you all a hug, I would. I'm gonna send out a virtual hug. Here you go. All right, there go the virtual hug. I love you. And I want you to lift your head up, and I want you to know it's going to be all right. We going to pull through this. We not going to assassinate one another's character. We ain't going to go along with the foolishness. We ain't going to go along with the chaos, negativity, and drama. We ain't going to be pulled down in the midst of it. We not going down to ground zero. No, we not. We going to lift ourselves up out of this, people, and we ain't going to wallow in no pity party. We see what's going on. We see the evil is steady doing. We see we've been in a struggle. We've been in a 400-year struggle. We still trying to get right. See, because the police used to sick the dogs on them, and the water hose and all of this stuff. And now, they just flat out shooting them now and killing them, and it's ridiculous. I don't understand why the police had to let the boy hold on to his shirt and let him go on and go in the car. He had him by the shirt. Why come he couldn't just, he had to do that in front of his babies? I don't understand this that's going on, and these kids are living through this trauma and got to deal with this trauma. This is trauma, and we know that our children are resilient because our ancestors have came through, with through their mind, because that's all they had. They ain't had no substances. They had their mind and they had each other. See, that's how they pulled through. They leaned on one another. They counted on one another. Because I'm tell you something. They had a slave that was an Uncle Tom slave. But I'm tell you something, he helped Harriet Tubman. She knew God sent her who to help. Cause I'm gonna tell you something else. Watch this. God will work through anybody. He will work through anybody. I told you this. God, when I was feeling a little discouraged one day, and I went on Twitter and I just said, hello, is anybody out there? And God sent an atheist, and to tell me, keep going. I'm here. Yeah. I'm out here, and God will use anybody. I don't care who it is. I clicked on that person's profile because I was getting ready to follow him. And come find out, I said, I'm an atheist. That's the first thing he said. And so I can't follow you, but I appreciate that. God used that person to give me that boost that I need. And he will use anybody, at any time that I don't care what, he'll use the devil, he'll use anything. Cause see, God is all powerful. He more powerful than the devil. So why would you want to walk in evil? Why would you want to turn your back, say, hey, look, I'd rather have the money than to have God. How you turn your back on the Lord, and just live a life in the battle, just going through the struggle, when you don't have to go through the struggle. It don't matter what your circumstances is. It don't matter where when you got God on you and you got God on the heart and you be happy. It don't matter, honey. It don't matter because when you got God, you got everything. Just imagine having everything in the world. Having a house that you want, the car you want, and all that, but you ain't got God. You ain't got nothing. Because all that can be taken away. And then what you got? You ain't got nothing. You can have everything in the world, but if you ain't got the Lord, you ain't got nothing. What for a man to gain the world and to lose his soul? I don't want to lose my soul. No. I'm working for the Lord, honey. I'm in the Lord's army. I'm marching on. I'm rising up. I'm growing with substance. I'm coming out and I'm gonna beat this oppression. I got a picture of me as a newborn, my fists out. I'm ready to beat oppression. I'm ready. I'm going to be in this battle. I'm going to keep on. This back ain't going to pull me down. Ain't nothing, no one going to stop me because I'm going to see to it that we are all going to come up out of this oppression. We going to win the battle of life, the battle of good and evil, God versus the devil. We are going to win it. God said in his word, God said, God told me we are going to rise with substance. We're going to come out. It's been 400 years in the struggle, people. We've been struggling for 400 years, And I'm telling you, when I say I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, that's why I was born as a first free African born in the 60s. The first generation of first free African with civil rights, And my parents didn't have no civil rights. They were really oppressed with no civil rights. So then the oppression trickled on down to me, which steady trickling on down, But here I am to defeat it. I'm here to put an end to it. That's why I went through everything I went through in my life to help you to overcome and win the battle. This is a battle of good and evil. I'm telling you. See just imagine all you can do, all you can accomplish if you allow that good to just take over. Stop doing you. Stop sitting, plotting and thinking. Doing stinking thinking. God bless you, people. I love you. Greatness reached over oppression through wisdom all over the world. God bless you.